Welcome to Advanced and Performance Driving. I'm Reg Local. In this video we're going to have a look at a skill that a lot of people seem to think is the be all and end all of advanced driving. It isn't. It's a useful little technique you can use, not so much on the road, more on track probably, but there are times when you can use it on the road, and that technique is heel and toe. So what is heel and toe? Well, in very basic terms, heel and toe is a technique where you can press the brakes and press the accelerator at the same time with your right foot, which allows you to match engine revs when you're changing down through the gearbox. So why is that important? Well, to be honest, in normal road driving it's not that important, but we'll have a look at the benefits for road driving in a minute. If you're on track, if you're driving high speed on track, competition driving, race driving, or you're doing track days, it is quite an important technique. You're going to be braking very, very hard and very, very late on track, right up to the apex of corners. So it's important that you can change down and match engine revs at the same time that you're braking very hard into the corner. It's important to match engine revs because you don't want your driven axle to lock, which it will do if you don't match the engine revs whilst you're braking. Now on the road the benefits are more limited, but there are times when you need to brake and change gear at the same time. Generally, if we're applying the system correctly, we'll be doing our braking, finishing the braking, coming off the brakes, and then changing gear and using our right foot on the accelerator. So we separate the two out. But there are times on the road, occasionally you might be going downhill and approaching a hairpin bend, or you might be driving downhill and approaching a junction to the left. And if you come off the brakes when you're driving downhill, the car will accelerate because of gravity. Clearly we don't want the car accelerating when we've set our speed correctly, so you'll need to keep the brakes on. Maybe other times as well where you've got somebody very close behind you and they're not going to expect you to brake quite as early as we might do when we're applying the system. So under those circumstances where we want to brake and change gear at the same time, there is some benefit in matching engine revs whilst we're still on the brake pedal. Now there's two main techniques for heel and toe. The first one is the one I use because it suits my big size 11 feet. You press the right hand side of the brake pedal with the left hand side of your foot, and then roll the right hand side of your foot onto the accelerator pedal to raise engine revs. The other technique suits people with slightly daintier feet than me, but that's basically to lift the heel of your foot off the floor, press the brake pedal with your toe, and then roll your the heel of your foot onto the accelerator pedal. So you've got your toe on the brakes and your heel on the accelerator pedal, and that's why they call it heel and toe. Because I've got quite big feet, I find it more comfortable to keep the heel of my foot on the floor, brake with the left hand side of my foot, and roll the right hand side of my foot onto the accelerator pedal. So let's have a look at it on the move. So for this next right-hander, I'm going to apply the brakes and change down to third gear. So brakes, third gear. You'll see I roll the right-hand side of my foot onto the accelerator pedal. So for this next right-hander, I'm going to brake and change down to third gear. So covering the brakes, rolling my foot over the accelerator, raising the revs for third gear, and then nicely, smoothly picking up the clutch, driving through the corner. Brakes, third gear, back on the accelerator. Let's try it for this left-hander. Take a position straddling the white centre line. Start braking now. Raise the revs. Bring the drive up through the corner. About the right-hander in the distance there. That's the one we're going to have to brake for. So positioning near side, covering the brakes, raising the revs, back on the accelerator for the corner. So fifth gear now, approaching this right-hander, we're going to need third gear. Braking, raising the revs for third gear, back on the accelerator for the corner. So here's a classic situation where you might want to employ heel and toe technique. It's downhill into a tightening left-hander. I'm in 5th gear at the moment. I'm going to need to brake and take 3rd gear. So it's brakes. I don't want to lift off the brakes because the car will pick up speed. Raise the revs into 3rd gear and then turn into the corner. The next corner is a downhill hairpin round to the right. So here we're going to brake, cover the brakes, raise the revs for 2nd gear and steer into the corner. And pick up the drive coming out of the corner. Now there's a lot of people who think that heel and toe is the be all and end all of advanced and high performance driving. It really isn't. It's just a way of matching revs whilst you're keeping the brakes on. A lot of cars these days will automatically rev match. Mrs. Local's Mini Cooper automatically rev matches without you having to take your foot from the brake pedal. Quite a few modern Porsches and some BMWs automatically rev match as well. This one doesn't. I like being able to do it myself. But heel and toe is not the be all and end all of advanced driving, but it's a nice little technique to learn and practice, and it's quite good fun. It's quite satisfying when you get it right. But it's another little tool in your toolbox of driving skills. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Don't forget to subscribe. Go and have a look at the website, www.regilocal.com. Loads more information there about advanced and performance driving, and we'll see you next time.